Hello, welcome back to this week's reading of the book Secret of Secrets by Osho. I will immediately continue where I left you the last time I was reading, which was at the third question. Osho, you spoke of the silence one finds in the Himalayas, that it is of the Himalayas, borrowed, and it will leave when one returns to the marketplace. Is this true of the silence? Am I finding in your presence? Is this borrowed? Will it disappear when I leave from here? Is this place like the marketplace? I'm putting on my glasses because my eyes are a little bit tired. Yay, that's better. Well, can you find any other place which is more like the market? I could have made the ashram somewhere in the Himalayas. I love the Himalayas. For me, it is a great sacrifice not to be in the Himalayas, but for a certain purpose. I have not made my ashram in the Himalayas. I want to remain part of the marketplace. And this ashram is run almost as part of the marketplace. That is why Indians are very much annoyed. They cannot understand. They have known ashrams for centuries, but this ashram is beyond their comprehension. They cannot think that you have to pay to listen to a religious discourse. They have always listened for free. And it was not only free of charge, but after the discourse the ashram distributes prasad too. Many go to listen to the discourses not because of the discourses but for the prasad. Here you have to pay. What am I doing? I want to be absolutely a part of the marketplace because I want my sannyasins not to move into the monasteries. They have to remain in the world. Their meditation should grow in the world. Their meditation should not become escapists. So whatsoever peace you are finding here, you will be able to retain it anywhere you go. There will be no problem, not at all. I've been managing in such a way that all that can disturb you anywhere else is present here. So you need not to be afraid. Meditators have always been afraid of a few things. For example, they have been afraid of women. Can you find anywhere in India more beautiful women than here? More alive, living here, being here? You will become completely oblivious of the fact of who is a man and who is a woman. How long can you go on persisting in making the distinction? The future belongs neither to man nor to woman. The future will be a kind of androgyny. The distinction between man and woman is going to disappear more and more. In the past, the distinction was very much created, culture-orientated. A girl had to be brought up in a different way than a boy, in an utterly different way. I am not saying that there is no difference. There is a difference between man and woman, but the difference is only biological. But the society creates a psychological difference. These things are allowed for boys only, because boys are boys, and these things are not allowed for girls. A psychological difference is created from the very beginning. The difference that you see between men and women in the world is 99% created, nurtured. It's not natural. There is a 1% difference that is biological. That doesn't matter. Living here, you live in such a togetherness that you will become oblivious to the fact of who is a man and who is a woman. In the old days, with the old styles sannyas, people had to go away from women to the caves, to the monasteries. There are Christian monasteries where no woman has ever entered, has ever been allowed to enter. On Mount Athos there is a monastery. For 1200 years not a single woman has been allowed to enter. And what to say of a woman? Not even a girl of the age of 6 months, not even a 6-month-old girl has been allowed. Just see the fear. And what kind of people must be living there if they cannot even allow a 6-month-old girl? Maniacs called monks, or monkeys, but not men. They must be mad. And it is in the monasteries that all kind of monstrosities have arisen. Homosexuality was first born in the monasteries. It is a religious phenomenon. It was bound to be so. If you force men to live together in a place where no woman is ever allowed, sooner or later homosexuality will come. Masturbation is a monastic practice. It came out of monasteries. All kinds of perversions are bound to be there. There are monasteries for women too, only women are allowed, no men ever. And their whole fantasy world consists of men. They cannot get magazines like Playboy, but who needs them when you have enough time to fantasize? Their fantasy is so pornographic that magazines like Playboy are nothing. Their fantasies are more psychedelic. These two people who have lived in such a monastery, if they are allowed to come back to the world, naturally their meditation, their prayer, their religion, and all will be disturbed. Monks are very afraid of money. Naturally, if they come into the world, money has to be tackled. You cannot live in a world without money, and monks have been so afraid that they will not even touch money. See the fear, the obsession. Acharya Vinoba Bhave, the chief disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, does not touch money. But what kind of obsession is this? Touching a 10 rupee note, how can it harm you? And if it can harm you, what kind of spirituality is this? Such an impotent spirituality. Not only is he unable to touch it, but if you bring money in front of him, he closes his eyes. He cannot even look. His guru, Mahatma Gandhi, used to keep 3 monkeys. Somebody had given him a present. Knowing him, the present was exactly the right present. One monkey is sitting with both his hands over his eyes, not looking. Don't look at many things in life, because it is dangerous. Another monkey is sitting with his hands over his ears. Don't listen to many things, because it is dangerous. And the third monkey is sitting with his hands over his mouth. Don't say many things, because it is dangerous. And the monk has to do all 3 things together. That is why I say a monk is a monkey 3 times over. Such a person who cannot open his eyes, cannot open his ears, and cannot open his mouth, if he comes into the world, he will naturally be in difficulties. He will find that all is disturbed, all is destroyed. And in India, the calamity is that these monkeys have become the leaders of this country. Perverted people suffering from abnormalities, not natural, not flowing, not in Tao. My whole effort here is to create a miniature world where money is absolutely accepted, where women and men live together in joy and celebration without fear, where all that goes on in the world also continues, and alongside the meditation it grows. It becomes stronger and stronger because all of the challenges are here. You can go anywhere you like. Nobody can take your peace away. Your silence is yours. It's not because of me. You have earned it. You've gained it. And a related question. So what? What do you mean? Society with its rules. What about this place? Bullshit, Osho. Bullshit, it's all bullshit. The question is from Sucheta. I have not been hard on her yet, hence the question. But from now onwards she will know I have been really nice to her, and I am rarely nice to people. This place has more rules than any other place. Those rules are a device to create a certain situation in you, a challenge. The question has arisen in her mind because she wants to work with children, and I have said no. I have told her to work somewhere else. If I go with your likes and dislikes, your choices, I am Osho in this question. She has not written Osho. Otherwise, she always writes Beloved Osho, beloved Master. The question directly starts with, so what? I cannot leave you to yourself, otherwise I will not be of any help. Just because Sucheta wants to work with children, I cannot allow her, because I have to take care of children too. I cannot spoil their life. Sucheta, you are spoiled by your parents, by your family, by your society. I cannot send you to the children. You are not yet capable of that. Just because you choose, anybody can choose anything. But there are things you have to go through. And here things have to go according to me, not according to you. Remember it. If you cannot be patient enough, then this is not the place for you. Then you can leave. Guards are at every gate to prevent people from coming in, but I have not put any guards to prevent people from going out. You can leave immediately. If you have to be here, you have to be according to me. Only then can I be of any help. I know what is needed. It is not always that which you like, which is in your need. Your like comes out of your mind, and your mind has to be destroyed. I cannot listen to your likes and dislikes. All these rules are made by me. The moment you become a sannyasin, you give this much authority to me, that I will decide a few things for you. And if you want to become an ashramite, then you have to give 100% authority to me. That is the meaning of becoming an inmate of the ashram. She wanted to be in the ashram, and I have put her outside because she is not yet capable of it. Just listen to the question and you will see. You will have to earn it. And this is not the way to earn it, remember. It is very easy to lose this opportunity that is available to you. Your ego can become a problem, can create problems for you. Either you have to listen to your ego, or you have to listen to me. You will have to change your whole pattern of thinking. You will have to change your very language of life. Otherwise, you will misunderstand. These rules are for a certain purpose. Madhuri was living in Lao Tzu's house, and suddenly I sent her to live in Jesus' house. She cried, but accepted it. And she has come closer to me, closer than she ever was, in that very acceptance. More love will be showering on her from my side. She can live physically very close to me. That is one thing. She could have resisted. She could have written me an angry letter, but she has not done anything. She has not even uttered a single angry word. She cried. She was sad, and that is natural, but no anger. To live with me in the same house and then to be sent to live in another house is hard, I know. But she survived the shock, and something immensely valuable has happened through it. Only later on she will understand that this was a blessing. It takes time for you to understand things, but I live in a totally different reality. And I decide from there. And I know you live in a different reality. Misinterpretations are bound to be there from your side, but try to understand me, even if you cannot understand sometimes. Silently, patiently, do what I say. It happened. The teacher asked the student, "Do you like Kipling?" The student said, "I don't know. I have never kippled." Marriage counselor. Oh. Marriage counselor to wife. "Do you usually wake up grumpy in the morning?" Wife. "No. He gets up before I do." How did you get on with your date last night? One hippie was asked by an elderly neighbor. "Just great," was the reply. "I finally persuaded her to say yes." "Oh, congratulations. When's the wedding to be?" "Wedding? What wedding?" To a hippie, it is a different world. Yes does not mean marriage. Vicar, you told me I must have faith, hope and charity. That's right. Well, when I tried, they called the police. And the last? Are you sure that it was a marriage license you gave me last month? Yes, sir. What's the matter? I thought there might be some mistake, seeing that I have lived a dog's life ever since. Sucheta, if you want to be here, you will have to learn my language, my way of seeing things, and you have to come with me, otherwise this is not the place for you. Don't waste your time here. Then it is better to leave this place soon. The sooner the better, because if you don't go with me one day or other, you will have to leave. And then you will feel very miserable, because all those days that you stayed here will look like a wastage. If you want to be with me, then be with me totally as possible, and then something can happen. This happening is difficult because from your side there are so many hindrances. The fifth question. Osho, I found the comments on rape in yesterday's discourse very offensive, namely that the woman who are raped wanted it. This has been proven to be absolutely incorrect. Then why have you not signed the question? First, I had not said that all the women who are raped were desiring it. I said in the majority of cases. Remember it. It makes a lot of difference, and it is only an example. There are thousands of car accidents, and I say again, the majority of people who go through a car accident wanted it, were accident prone, were hoping somehow that something would happen, were desiring it deep down, were suicidal. The mind that you know is not all. Below it, there is a greater unconscious mind. In that unconscious mind, you harbor many things of which you are not aware. There may be a person who is suicidal but not courageous enough to commit suicide. He will seek ways and means to commit suicide in the various ways. A car accident. He will not be responsible at all. Nobody will say that he committed suicide. Nobody will say later on that he was a coward, that he could not face life. It is easier to have a car accident than to commit suicide. And as far as rape is concerned, just look into your unconscious. Look into your dreams. It is very rare to find a woman who has not dreamed of being raped. There is a certain attraction on it. What is the attraction? The attraction is that you are so irresistible that a person is ready to commit rape. You are so irresistible that a person is ready to go to jail for 10 years. Or if it is a Mohammedan country, is even ready to die. If a rape is committed in a Mohammedan country and the person is caught, death is the penalty. And you will be surprised, more rapes are committed in Mohammedan countries than anywhere else. Maybe the person who commits the rape wants to commit suicide. And this is a beautiful way to commit suicide. Can you find a better way of committing suicide? A brave way too. And dying for love, so poetic, so romantic. There is some violence involved in sex, even in ordinary sex, when no rape is committed. Something of rape is involved. The women always say no. Why? Because if she said yes too easily, then there is no longer that feeling, I'm needed, utterly needed. She goes on saying no and goes on meaning yes. She goes on saying no. She is provoking the man. She wants the man to be after her. She wants the man to force her. The very effort to force her, the very effort to drag her into lovemaking makes her feel good. She's needed. This is a poor state of mind, but it is how people are. So first I said, in the majority of cases. There are accidents also. You may not be thinking of rape at all. And a madman comes and rapes you. I'm not excluding those cases. That is why I didn't say 100%. In the majority of cases, whatsoever happens to you, rape, murder, disease is somehow, somewhere desired by you. But I am not saying in all cases. Now, psychologists are aware that when people are prone to certain diseases, for example, near about the age of 42, people have heart attacks. Why near the age of 42? Because that is a time when people start succeeding or have succeeded. They have the money they always wanted, and now they don't know what to do. Success is there and they are shocked by the success. They have always lived in the hope that they will have this much money, this woman, this house, this car, and they have it. Now what? Suddenly the heart stops beating. Now what? All directions seem to be lost. If they don't have a heart attack, they will be very miserable. The heart attack relieves them. Now they can say to the world, I have to rest. The doctors have suggested rest. I cannot do any hard work. They cannot rest without an excuse. A heart attack becomes the excuse. If they simply rest, people will say, what are you doing? At the prime of your life, on the last rung of your success, what are you doing? You can have more money. This is the time, because when you have money, more money comes. When you have success, more success comes. What are you doing? Relaxing, retiring, and they will not have any excuse. A heart attack is a beautiful excuse. Nobody will say they have escaped from the world. Nobody will throw the responsibility on them. What can they do? The whole responsibility goes to the heart attack. People are not conscious of all that goes on deep inside of them. You say, I found the comments on rape in yesterday's discourse very offensive. But why are they so offensive? And only to one person? Nobody else has written. Nobody else has felt any offense. If you are a lady, I hope that you are a lady, because if you're a gentleman, then things will be more complicated. So I trust that you are a lady. Why are you feeling so offended? You must be carrying the desire in you, hence the offense. Otherwise there is no offense. I am a madam. I am a madman. I go on saying things. Why should you be offended? I am not a scientist. I am not a psychologist. I am nobody. I like gossiping. I am not a consistent man. I go on contradicting myself. You can just wait for a few days and I will contradict myself. I will say, never has it happened. Whenever a woman is raped, she is not responsible. It is a male ego, male violence. Just wait. You have to be patient with me. I contradict myself. But why are you offended? I must have touched a sore spot in you. Something like a wound must be there. Deep down, somewhere in the unconscious, you wanted to be raped. This is why there is so much anger, so much offense, and you are afraid too, naturally. That is why you have not signed the question. Always remember to sign it. And if you are very much afraid, you can write somebody else's name, but sign it. Then you can enjoy. And all the other will be beaten. No need to be worried about it. And you say, this has been proven to be absolutely incorrect. Do you know that nothing is ever proven absolutely? Nothing. Man has not proved anything absolutely. There is no possibility of proving anything absolutely. New discoveries, new facts, new data, new changes, all have been made. Even scientific discoveries are not absolute. So how can psychological discoveries be absolute? Psychology is not yet a science. It is still fictitious. At most you can call it, if you like the word scientific. Bless me. Where was I? At most you can call it, if you like the word scientific, you can call it science fiction. But it has nothing to do with science yet. It is struggling to be scientific, but I don't think that it ever will be, because man's mind is like mercury. You cannot make a science out of it, and man's mind is not a single phenomenon. There are as many minds as there are people. All the psychology can hope for is think about the average mind. But you never come across the average. You always come across the unique. The scientific explanation is possible about... no scientific explanation is possible about the unique mind. Psychology is not yet a science. And even science cannot claim absoluteness. What Newton did is no longer right. It looked so absolute in those days. It is no longer right, though. Do you think what Einstein has done will remain right for long? It cannot. It is not. In the very nature of things, it is not. Life is such a mystery that the more you know about it, the more you will have to create new hypotheses to include the new facts. Have you known man and women totally? Have you fathomed the feminine mind totally? So that you know absolutely that this is incorrect? Nothing is absolutely correct, nothing is absolutely incorrect. All are guesses, one may be a little more close to the truth and another may not be so close. But what I said has not to be taken as a general statement. It was to be taken as an object for meditation. You just meditate over it. I am not concerned about general truths. I am talking to disciples. You have to look into yourself. If you're a woman, disciple, you just look into yourself. If there is somewhere a lurking desire to be raped, and if there is, it is better to know about it. It is better to bring it to the conscious completely, because once something becomes conscious, it disappears. It can exist only in the unconscious. In the unconscious, it is dangerous. If you bring it to the conscious, it evaporates. It is like pulling a tree out of the earth, bringing its roots to the light. Then the tree dies. And that's exactly what happens. Anything that goes on lurking in the unconscious, in the dark chamber of your soul, which is 9 times bigger than your conscious mind, bring it into the conscious mind, bring it into the sunlight, and if it comes there, it withers away. And on that note of withering away, I will finish my reading session of half an hour for today. Thank you for listening. If you were, again, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you tomorrow.